Edge. Now, why the SAARC has been used? First, understand what SAARC is. SAARC is a intergovernmental body of South Asia, South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation. This is the full form of SAARC. And what our Prime Minister proposed, that we need to have a SAARC emergency fund of 10 million and formation of a rapid response team of doctors, specialists, testing equipment, attendant infrastructure to combat this global pandemic of COVID-19. Though initially initiative may not succeed in eradicating the epidemic, but we all know that South Asia is a heavily, highly, populated area with high density populated area with very poor public health infrastructure, and that is why it is important that collective effort, sharing of resources, technology support is requisite here. Though SAARC has not been a very effective body, since its inception in 1985. However, still government feels that this is a crisis situation, hence we have to put an effort. Now, what are the problems faced by SAARC nations in this crisis? Now, we all know that Maldives and Sri Lanka are, are the country which depend entirely on tourism, so their revenue and employment is heavily impacted. Landlocked Afghanistan is already under a lot of problem, because of the crisis going on. It is a new country relatively after the Afghan attack. And then since Afghanistan shares border with Iran, where the COVID crisis is very high, Pakistan also is also in the nation, and the trade is coming from both the nations. The supply lines in Afghanistan, happen from Pakistan, Afghanistan. Also, many SAARC nations, if I talk about SAARC nations, we'll see the map of SAARC nations. They share borders with China, place where the virus has originated. And because of this high population density in this, there is a chances that if somehow the transmission spreads, if we don't contain the this epidemic, then problem will have manifold. If countries like USA are not able to control, where almost 500,000 cases have been there, so you can imagine how we will be able to survive. Now, this is SAARC, South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation. India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. So this, you can see this, all the countries are, they are together in terms of we all share boundaries, and that is the objective, that let's create a collective body which will work for the development. A South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC, is an intergovernmental organization, regional intergovernmental organization of a geopolitical union of South Asia. The members are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. SAARC, some other data, it comprises of 3% of the world's area, 21% of the world population, and around 4% of the world GDP. Naturally, the almost 3 trillion GDP is actually coming from India itself. So India is the bigger economic partner here. SAARC was found in 1985, and its secretariat is based in Kathmandu in Nepal. And the organization focuses on promotion of development in the economic and regional integration. So economic development and regional integration. See, if you see the examples of other intergovernmental organization, regional organization, there are many very successful initiatives. For example, we have ASEAN, okay, we have European Union, very successful bodies. Similarly, we have Mercosur, in South America. So we have some good examples of initiatives or intergovernmental organization, or maybe EPIC can also be there. But SAARC has been a has not been a good initiative, has not been a good successful initiative in comparison to other bodies. A lot of effort has been taken. We'll understand the problem in the SAARC. For example, SAFTA, South Asian Free Trade Agreement, was signed on 6. SAARC maintains permanent diplomatic relations at UN as an observer. Now, remember, all these points, these topics are important for prelims examination, and these important little facts are important for the MCQs. So, maintains a permanent diplomatic relations at UN as an observer, and has developed links with multilateral entities, including European Union. Now, idea of SAARC was mooted by General Ziaur Rahman of Bangladesh, and the first summit happened in 1985. And the last member who joined was Afghanistan in 2007. 35 years have passed of this existence, but it has not lived up of its promise of regional integration, economic development, cooperation, support. And South Asia is the least integrated region. Less than 5% of the trade of SAARC countries is within the nations. And SAFTA was also agreed, but it has been a non-start. 19th SAARC, which happened, 19th SAARC summit happened in November 2016. Sorry, it was supposed to happen in November 2016, but because of this Uri attack happened in India, it has not happened. And since 85, in the first SAARC happened in 1985, and the declaration was made by the various head of the state around that time. So this is the idea of SAARC. Now SAARC has further a specialized body which will focus on special mandate and structures from different regional centers. So you can see special bodies, that is SAARCO, SAARC Development Fund, Arbitration Council, SAARC, South Asian University, South Asian Regional Standards Organization, SAARCO. So all these specialized bodies are already there. Head of these bodies act as member secretary of the governing board, which reports to programming committee of SAARC. We do have institutional mechanism, but they have been not very effective in terms of their operations. Now, why the SAARC has failed? We all know that SAARC as a body was initiated by Bangladesh head, but SAARC has not been successful, and primarily because of India-Pakistan conflict. The two biggest players of SAARC are India and Pakistan, and we have our history of our problem. And the other players are smaller, and they believe that SAARC has not taken its role because of the conflict. The reasons are dysfunctional nature of SAARC is bilateral issues cannot be discussed. That is important. Now, because it's a group of the countries of South Asia, here two countries problem will not be discussed. Only the issues which will concern all the countries will be discussed. So bilateral issues cannot be discussed in SAARC, since the organization relies on the principle of unanimity. Unanimity means agar koi decision hota hai, to everybody should agree, then only decision will be taken. Pakistan has often vetoed major initiatives proposed at SAARC. For example, SAARC motor vehicle agreement proposed at Kathmandu was vetoed. So any one member will veto, which means that an initiative will not move. For India, Pakistan use of terror as an instrument of foreign policy has made normal business impossible. Dispute between Pakistan and Afghanistan also over Durand line. Okay, so that is also border dispute is there. India's economic position, now India is it's a 3.7 trillion GDP of SAARC, where 3 trillion is India's GDP. So naturally, India is the biggest player here, and because of India's economic position, other countries think that India is a bully, or maybe India is act like a big brother rather than a strategic partner. So that has been the concern, or maybe a kind of a thing which is always in kind of a discussion. Lack of trust between Indo-Pakistan relations. Now that has been the biggest region. After deadly terrorist attack in Uri, India refused to engage with SAARC. SAARC has become almost marginal to the region's collective consciousness, and other organizations such as BIMSTEC has come to the forefront. Now, when SAARC has not moving forward, the present government felt that let's create a new, let's focus on new body, that is BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC is Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Mainly, BIMSTEC is about SAARC minus Pakistan, you can say. So, in the next video is on BIMSTEC. Now, let's quickly see the difference between BIMSTEC. SAARC is in the South Asia, whereas BIMSTEC is connecting South Asia as well as Southeast Asia. 85, BIMSTEC in 997, member countries suffer from mistrust and suspicion, but BIMSTEC has relatively friendly relations. There is a lot of regional politics in SAARC, but member countries here have relatively higher strategic trust. There is an asymmetric power balance. Why asymmetric? Because India is much stronger, and second level at Pakistan is there. But here there are countries like Thailand and India, so which relatively kind of balances things. Intra trade is only 5%. Intra trade has increased around 6% in a decade. So in past few years, a lot of focus is there on the BIMSTEC. And so let's that is all for today. The next video will be on BIMSTEC. Thank you very much.